But there's another issue that we've been monitoring at Family Research Council over the last several weeks and months. And the Violence Against Women Act, which had some very dangerous religious freedom implications embedded in it. We just want to thank you and let you know that 70,000 people took action through our campaign to let Congress know that this is not the kind of legislation that we want. This is not what we want Congress to be doing on our behalf. And just know and understand that that makes a difference in Washington, D.C. Your voice is being heard. Now, as we continue our conversation about Ukraine and Russia, as temperatures warm in Ukraine, Russian forces may find themselves literally stuck in the mud and not just being slowed down by fierce resistance from Ukrainian forces. Perhaps for this reason, Russia has been intensifying its offensive in Ukraine while also continuing ceasefire talks, which negotiators from both sides say have been making progress, which results possibly materializing in the coming days. Now, as it continues to lose momentum, Russia is reportedly asking China for military support and economic assistance, something that U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said will result in consequences.
I'm not going to sit here publicly and brandish threats, but what I will tell you is that we are communicating directly, privately to Beijing, that there will absolutely be consequences for large-scale sanctions, evasion efforts, or support to Russia to backfill them.
Will talking tough to Beijing in private stop the Chinese Communist Party from coming to the aid of their most strategic partner? Here with me to talk about this is China expert Gordon Chang, author of The Coming Collapse of China and The Great U.S.-China Tech War. He can be found on Twitter at Gordon C. Chang. Gordon, good to see you.
Thank you so much, Joseph.
Is China going to help Russia?
It already is helping Russia. There have been all these commodity purchases, oil, gas, wheat, coal. China is making its financial system available to Russian institutions that have been cut off of SWIFT and their dollar accounts. China's diplomats are working overtime to help Putin. And China's propaganda machine is propagating these absurd and ludicrous notions that Russia has been putting out. So yes, Beijing has been all in, and we should be treating it as a combatant because it is.
Why are they helping Russia?
Because Xi Jinping sees the United States as its enemy. I think that Xi Jinping made an assessment that Vladimir Putin would be able to win, and so therefore take down the international order, cut the United States down to size. Now, Xi, I think, made a strategic miscalculation there, but the reason why he did it was because he wants to destroy our society. I mean, it's been very clear. Xi Jinping is pushing the notion that China is the world's only legitimate state. So anything that goes after the United States, which is the main impediment to Xi's visions of victory, are good. So that's the reason why he's going after us and helping Putin.
China is not ignoring the international conflict and the speculation about its relationship with Russia. Here's what Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi had to say about the relationship between China and Russia. Let's play clip 4.
No matter how precarious and challenging the international situation may be, China and Russia will maintain strategic focus and steadily advance our comprehensive strategic partnership of coordination for a new era.
Gordon, what do you think that means?
It means China's going to continue to support Russia no matter what. Now, Jake Sullivan, when he issues threats, those threats, I don't know whether Sullivan believes them or not, but I don't think that China does, because China's heard American foreign policy officials, even American presidents, make threats and not carry through. So the calculus in Beijing, I'm about 99.999% sure, is that Sullivan is just bloviating. Now, that's not to say that the Chinese are right. I think that they could very well be wrong. But unfortunately, we have taught Beijing to ignore what we say.
Now, Gordon, there are many who have expressed surprise at the international community's swift and virtually unanimous reaction to Russia. We also think that China has been side-eyeing Taiwan for a long time and is looking at this situation to assess how they might invade Taiwan. What do you think is happening there? Is China learning anything? Is anything about this situation going to serve as a deterrent to their future aggressions?
I think that there are 3 or 4 things that they've learned. One of them is that this was the biggest failure of deterrence in baby American history. We're far stronger than Russia. Our economy, Europe's, Britain's, 25 times, more than 25 times larger than Russia's. Russia invaded anyway. I do think that China was taken a little bit aback by the swift response after the invasion started. And Biden, to his credit, has been able to rally our friends and partners. China learned 2 other things. One of them is that the Ukrainian people rallied and were able to stop a far stronger power. So Taiwan's people probably can make life extremely difficult for China's invading forces. Plus one other thing. Joe Biden has obviously been impressed by Vladimir Putin's threats to use his most destructive weapons. So China is threatening, to incinerate everybody else in the neighborhood because they see that with Russia, it works as well.
The Biden administration is threatening sanctions against China simply for helping Russia. In about 30 seconds, is there anything they could do that would actually stop it?
Yes. Cut every Chinese institution off of SWIFT, freeze all of their dollar accounts. The Chinese economy falls. The Communist Party goes with it.
Gordon Chang, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Joseph.